Dear students, today let us deal with the topic of self and mutual inductance. So first let us move on to self-inductance. So I'm going to take a wire or any conducting material, and a coil of wire is wound on it. Okay. Now let there be n number of turns in the coil and let a current of I flow through the coil. And let A be the cross-sectional area of the coil, mu r the relative permeability of the coil, and L length of the coil. Let the flux associated with the coil be phi. Now let us write the magnetizing force. The magnetizing force is given by H, which is nothing but MMF. What is MMF? Magnetomotive force divided by the length. So we know the magnetomotive force is number of turns into the current, so Ni. L is the length of the coil, so by L. Now let us write magnetic flux density. It is nothing but B is equal to mu naught mu r H. Now substituting the value of H, you get mu naught mu r N I by L. Now magnetic flux phi is nothing but B into the cross-sectional area. Magnetic flux density into the cross-sectional area. Substituting the value of B, mu naught mu r N I by L into A. Now the flux linkage can be written as N times phi because there are N number of turns. So we get mu naught mu r N. Already I have N here, one more N, so it becomes N squared I by L into A. Now I'm going to define L, the self-inductance, as the flux linkage divided by the current. L, it is self-inductance. It is nothing but the flux linkage divided by the current through the coil. So when I divide this N phi, I gets cancelled. So we get mu naught mu r N squared A by L. Now this equation is re-returned as, the right hand side is re-returned as N squared is retained, L by, when I bring this quantity here, it becomes in the denominator, so mu naught mu r A. Now this quantity L by mu naught mu r A is called S, the reluctance. Now let us find out the induced EMF. From Faraday's law, we know the induced EMF is nothing but minus N d phi by dt. We also know L is N phi by I. So from this equation I can write Li is equal to N phi, or differentiating this equation with respect to t, you get L di by dt is equal to N d phi by dt. Now this right hand side is nothing but my EMF, induced EMF according to Faraday's law. So induced EMF now becomes L di by dt, of course with a negative sign because of the Lenz's law, consequence of Lenz's law, where it states both the actual EMF and the induced EMF are opposite in direction. So the self-induced EMF is nothing but L into di by dt, or where I is nothing but or I can write L is equal to N squared by S, because just now we derived L is N squared by S, so L is N squared by S, where N is number of turns and S is the reluctance. So finding out the induced EMF of a self-inductance or a self-induced EMF in a single coil is nothing but minus L into di by dt.